Hey all you bitches and bros and non-binary hoes, and welcome to the world of Neko Deco Pop. This was a strange anime season for a multitude of reasons, one of which made me so angry that I had to spend a whole entire day trying to calm myself down. There were some standouts, and there was also some entries that made me hang my head in shame. So let's get into the good, the bad, and the spoiler-laced rage cycle that made me completely give up. My Happy Marriage. Now, I've heard a lot of division about My Happy Marriage. Half of y'all think it's just a half-assed Cinderella story where the main character has no personality and just flails towards the protection of a man. And the other half is dubbing it as one of the best shoujo anime of our generation. I personally enjoyed it. It was cute. I had fun. There were lots of gripping emotional moments that made me care very deeply about the characters and root for them. It had original concepts, really satisfying resolution to some of its stories, and the animation was absolutely gorgeous. Do I think it's one of the greatest shoujo anime of our generation? No. Not at all. Not because it's not good, but because there are so many amazing ones out there that although this is good, it just didn't hit those super high standards. My Happy Marriage had a massive supernatural element that ended up getting pretty dark and being super gripping that I absolutely loved. It really set the series apart from its standard shoujo counterparts, and I feel like it's gonna really give it a lot of growth in future seasons. I am very satisfied with how everything turned out and am thrilled that a second season has already been greenlit. My Happy Marriage gets a 8 out of 10. Ooku, The Inner Chambers. This was a difficult anime to watch, so much so that I had to stop watching for a few months. Literally no one is having a good time in this anime. I am very upset that I waited until the last minute to finish making this video because I had to binge Ooku. This is not a fun anime to binge. There is a lot, and I mean a lot, of very triggering subjects surrounding every manner of SA and abuse. So if you have those triggers, this might just be one to skip. Like, there is a lot of R in this, and it was very painful to watch. I was really intrigued by the historical revision aspect. As a femme-presenting history nerd, seeing history being rewritten in a way where Japan's ruling class and industries were taken over by women was extremely exciting and engaging for me to watch. The basic plot of this alternate Japan is that there is a plague-turned-pandemic that wipes out 80% of the entire male population. This leaves women as the heads of household and government. As someone who knows the basic outline of Japanese history, watching how they reframed historical events was absolutely captivating. For example, in real-life history, the Closed Country Edict of 1635 closed off Japanese borders to foreign trade. From there, the government cracked down on the quickly spreading Christianity and absolutely cracked down on practitioners by massacring tens of thousands and sending countless others to hide underground. In Ooku, they used the Closed Country Edict as a way to prevent the outside world from knowing about the devastating losses to the male population, which in turn could have destabilized Japan's economy and made them susceptible to attack and invasion. They do this by once again blaming the Christians and still using their role in historical events as a cover for closing off the borders. All in all, this is a very depressing series, but so is the bulk of history, so I do applaud them for not shying away from the devastating aspects of it. That being said, I don't ever want to watch it again because there was literally maybe 3 joyful moments in the whole thing. And with seasonal depression joining up with my regular depression right now, I can't do it. Ooku, The Inner Chambers gets a 7 out of 10. I originally made this whole section for the anime Dark Gathering. I was binging it in preparation for this video, and then I realized It's 24 episodes, so it's not going to be done until the fall season wraps up. So first 8 episodes of Dark Gathering, awesome, great horror concepts, going to be great. I will review the entire thing when it fully comes out in the next video for, what is it called? Fall 2023. Jesus, this year is getting to me. All right, moving on. TenPuru. Now, why on God's green earth would I watch a harem when it's one of my least favorite genres? Yes, I grew up on Tenchi Muyo and Ranma 1/2, but let's be real. Harems haven't been good since the OG Tenchi Muyo. So why the f would I put myself through this fresh hell? Why do any of us content creators continue in an industry that's painstakingly difficult, have ungodly long editing hours, make us fight tooth and nail over copyright, and have little to no pay if you haven't reached the correct subscriber-follower threshold? For the content, of course. That, and I wanted something to get truly angry at, but at the end of the day, I mostly just got angry with myself. I could feel my ancestors' disappointment as they watched over what I've become. As Jews, they fled persecution, escaped Europe before the Holocaust, lost countless family, and went through absolute hell so that I could watch this garbage heap of a show and complain about it to strangers on the internet. Here is a list of thoughts I had while watching. Do I hate myself? What did I do in my former life to deserve this level of suffering? Why are half of the love interest underage? My internet keeps timing out while I'm watching it. Does it also pity me? Should I just leave the anime community for another 12 years? This hell is too great to bear. How I look forward to the sweet void of nothingness. Let the darkness embrace me. So did I actually enjoy this show? No, it's not a good show. The characters are annoying, the bulk of the love interests are underage, while the main character is a full-fledged adult. And like I said, I felt deep, deep shame every episode. My quality of life took a hit consuming this. I did a harem one time for y'all, never again. Gonna go bleach my eyes now, giving TenPuru a 2 out of 10. Would give it a 1, but it still had some semblance of a storyline, so there you go. The Masterful cat is depressed again today. Between this and The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses Again, anime is making me horrifically nauseous. Not so much because it's bad, but just look at this motion capture. It does get better after the first few episodes, and I did notice it less and less. The Masterful cat is depressed again today is a really cute and wholesome slice of lifer. There's not too much of a plot, just more of day-to-day shenanigans of the main character who is as helpless as a toddler, and the literal giant of a cat who steps up for being her caretaker. And I mean that. He cooks her meals, makes sure she gets up in the morning, carries her to bed when she's too drunk, cleans the house, goes shopping, and helps out with neighborhood tasks. It really makes you question what this cat is actually getting out of this relationship. And even after watching the full thing, I have no idea. There is also a whole episode where the main character is changing up her lifestyle to lose weight, and it was unnerving to see a massive cat fat-shaming his owner to uphold some of those impossible Japanese beauty standards. But besides that, this is a nice turn-your-brain-off anime for the end of the day. Although its concept is very unique, it's surprisingly normal, and there's not a whole ton that makes it stand apart from other animes in the genre, other than it's a cat instead of an exasperated roommate, parent, or partner. But overall, I still had a good time, giving another anime with way too long of a name to continue to repeat a 6 out of 10. Undead Murder Farce. So this one is definitely one of my favorites of this season and an official contender for Anime of the Year. Undead Murder Farce exceeded my expectations, which were set pretty high once I learned that the director is Mamoru Hatakayama, who directed the masterpiece that is Kaguya-sama Love is War. Now, I absolutely love murder mysteries, but it is so easy to do them wrong and get super bored over the never-ending explanations. But even those aspects were interesting and engaging. I also absolutely loved the style, complete with its own really gorgeous, unique flair that made Undead Murder Farce an absolute feast to consume. The main story is about Aya, an immortal detective who was stripped of her body and now lives in a bird cage alongside her loyal maid Shizuku and Suguru, a Oni-human hybrid who acts as her guard. They travel from Japan to Europe to try to track down the madman who separated her from her body and also transfused Suguru's human body with an Oni's. Along the way, they acquire the reputation of supernatural detectives while solving monster cases all over Europe. The best part of this anime, though, is how the three of them interact with each other. Aya the Immortal is cool, calm, collected with a hint of playful sarcasm. Shizuku the maid is a no-nonsense bad bitch who cannot stand Suguru the Oni-human he's just a himbo. Homeboy's hella strong but only has 2 brain cells and we love him for that. Undead Murder Farce is just so good. Unbelievably engaging and fun. So happy to have watched this one, giving Undead Murder Farce a 9.5 out of 10. Reborn as a vending machine, now I wander the dungeon. Well, I hope y'all are happy. You got me to watch an isekai, aka the genre I vehemently hate. I'm not gonna repeat the title over and over cause why is it so long? There's 1,000 jokes about anime titles getting longer and anime getting stupider, but this show fits the bill. If it was a regular isekai, I wouldn't even consider watching it. But it has such a stupid concept that I was curious. The title says it all. Reborn as a vending machine, now I wander the dungeon. And I gotta admit, it wasn't terrible. It was entertaining. I was able to get through it without ripping my hair out or crying to my ancestors, which is a good thing. But yeah, not much to say, nothing really original, just kinda your basic run-of-the-mill isekai blah blah blah. It was fine. Giving this stupidly long name anime a 5 out of 10. Horimiya Peace. Horimiya is definitely one of my favorite romance animes of all time. That being said, Horimiya Peace was definitely one of those side animes that makes you realize that, yeah, these are the stories that didn't make the cut in the original. And there's nothing wrong with that. I love the OG series so much, so when I found out these were just additional stories, I was a little disappointed. I just want to see our main couple move forward in life post-high school so badly. That being said, the stories were cute and a lot of fun. Some episodes were definitely better than others, but the general vibe was fun. For the most part, it was a really nice show to turn to at the end of a hard day to get that sweet serotonin bump that seasonal depression she's just determined to strip away from me. Overall, as a series, I did appreciate having more episodes about some of the side characters to flesh out their storylines. As a whole, though, it wasn't as good as the original, but that's okay, because the original was so good that this was still great, and I had a ton of fun with it. We're gonna give Horimiya Peace a 7.5 out of 10. Link click. The way I've been waiting for this second season to come out has been excruciating. I remember screaming and annoying the out of my neighbors at the cliffhanger from the end of season 1. I then lost my shit even further when there's a throwaway line in the 3rd season of The Daily Life of the Immortal King, which I thought was a major spoiler when in fact it was just talking about the season 1 cliffhanger. Although I loved the first season, this second season really pulled all the pieces together in a truly spectacular fashion. Focusing on one main storyline instead of more of an anthology style with connecting threads like the first season, they really found their own and made something truly spectacular. Plus, they also put into place the setup for season 3, which is going to be amazing. I personally need to go back and rewatch the first season because I know there was a lot of tie-ins to this season that I don't quite remember. Link Click is honestly one of the most underrated anime I've ever seen. Everyone and their mother is always talking about Steins Gate when it comes to sci-fi and time travel anime, but I'm sorry, Steins Gate is garbage compared to Link Click. The way the story built tension throughout the series only to go absolutely apeshit by the end had me screaming at my TV. That final episode also made me ugly cry, like for a while. Ugh, it was so good! I'm so emotionally exhausted but fulfilled, and I cannot wait for season 3. Link Click season 2 gets a 9 out of 10. Tenchi Muyo, GXP Paradise starting. Grew up with this puppy, but never watched the anime past the OG Tenchi universe. What could go wrong? Well, to start, I have no idea who half of these people are. Made it like 5 minutes before I had to Google everyone to see what the was happening. Almost like when you leave a series for 20 plus years, things happen. I was on board to watch this until I found out that the main character's main love interest is, and wait for this one, his mother-in-law. What in the fucking anime? I'm sorry, y'all. I can't do it. I tried. I failed. I dropped. Out of 10. Zom 100 Bucketlist of the Dead. I really enjoyed Zom 100, or at least the first 9 episodes of it. But as many of us know now, they have announced that Zom 100 is on a indefinite hiatus, so RIP. This is definitely one of the more unique animes I've seen and probably one of the most original zombie entries in the genre. You have your regular zombie apocalypse, survivors banding together, devastation, and lost loved ones, so what makes this even a little bit original? Because despite all of that chaos and destruction, this is a comedy anime and the main character is not just devastated and exhausted, but he's actually living his best life? This zombie outbreak has finally allowed him to truly live after his work culture took everything away from him. It also says a lot about Japanese work culture, which I only know a little about, so I'm not going to make sweeping generalizations, but the overworking aspect sounds absolutely horrific. Our main character has spent the last 3 years literally being crushed to death by his exploitation company. I wonder if it's saying anything about how horrible the anime industry is to their workers. I mean, it's not like 70% of all new animators quit between their first and third year due to being overworked and severely underpaid, while the massive conglomerates at the top make the highest ranking profits the industry has ever seen and use that as an excuse to force their companies to pump out even more shows every passing season. But I'm sure that's just a coincidence. The entire anime starts in color and then fades to black and white as he has the life sucked out of him. But when the zombie apocalypse happens, color starts coming back into his world by the event that shut down everyone else's. Zom 100 is just a overall super fun anime, and every episode was an absolute joy to watch. Here's hoping it comes back sometime in the near future. Gonna give Zom 100 a hiatus out of 10. Jujutsu Kaisen. This is going to be a quick review, and by review I mean rant. I watched the first 5 episode Lost Inventory arc and then the first episode of the Shibuya arc. Then life got in my way, so I took a little break, and on my break I got spoiled. And by spoiled I mean I got my world destroyed. If you are one of the motherfuckers on Twitter, Facebook, or anywhere else who shared the massive earth-shattering spoiler, I wish you only the worst in life. You are vile, evil creatures, and it took me hours to calm down after seeing that. Also, if you mention spoiler in the comments, I will delete your comment and ban you, because I refuse to let others be destroyed like I was. I was already around 100 chapters behind in the manga, because who the cares about the culling games? Like, I'm sorry, I just can't get myself to care. So when I saw this, it was the final straw. I have officially quit reading the manga, and I have also decided to quit the anime. Cause I know what happens in the Shibuya arc, and I'm not trying to feel more depressed than I already do in my everyday life. Would I like to see certain scenes animated? Yeah. But the amount of physical pain I feel when I think about this series, even writing the script, recording it, and editing the video makes me want to scream! Am I being a petty and bad fan by quitting the series? Yeah, but I don't fucking care. Cause I love the series, but the author obviously doesn't love us. Like, if you hate the series so much, just end it. Like you should have 100 chapters ago. So yeah, gonna go take a cold shower now and explain/apologize to my roommate for screaming at the top of my lungs to record this. Jujutsu Kaisen, both the anime and the manga, get a dropped out of 10. To wrap things up, overall, do I think this was the best season of anime in 2023? No. Honestly, it was probably the weakest of the year, even though we had amazing entries like Link Click and Undead Murder Farce. But seeing as we are in the golden age of anime, even a semi-lackluster season like this one still had some truly amazing and enjoyable shows. My favorites were Link Click and Undead Murder Farce. Ones I wish could have been better were Tenchi Muyo and Reborn as a vending machine. And as for TenPuru, I hope to never sink so low as to consume another harem. What were your favorites of the anime season? What do you wish was better, and what was your personal TenPuru? Let me know in the comments below. All in all, for summer 2023, the moral of the story is watch your anime in a timely manner so you don't have to binge 90 plus anime episodes in a week like I did to make this episode and have it come out on time. Stay the off of anime Twitter, and never, and I mean never, watch harems. Here is my official rankings of everything I watched this season. Thank you guys so much for sticking around, and I'll see all of y'all on the next one.